Each one of us has a story. Our journey has and is continuously impacting us. By listening to my guests share how they are discovering their best self, you will discover the best part of you. And thank you so much for tuning in to Discover Your Best Self podcast. Today I have with me Mr. Shannon Lanier, and I'm so excited, you guys, because he is one of those super dads, and he also is a part of our American history, so he's going to share with us some really cool, fun facts about him and what it means to be a super dad as well.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I like that term, super dad.
You like it?
Sometimes I don't feel like it.
No?
But no.
Yeah, you are. Everybody is. Any parent is a super parent.
Okay,
That's
I'll take
what
it.
I feel like, right?
My kids may not believe you, but I'll take it.
They will later.
Okay.
They will later, especially when they see, what to compare it against.
No,
you know
that's
what
true.
I mean?
Okay. Well, my son does call me Batman. So.
Does he?
Yeah.
I like
so,
it.
Yeah.
That's a superhero.
He's the Hawk. I'm Batman.
Okay, well, you get a cape.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Anything with a cape, I think you're winning.
I just wish I had more superpowers like a Superman would have.
Yeah?
But, yeah.
Okay, what would be the superpower?
Oh, flying. Definitely flying. Yeah.
Get somewhere faster.
Yeah.
Get
And
past the
time
traffic.
travel would be awesome as well.
I like the time travel.
Yeah. Go back and fix things. Even though you're not supposed to. It can mess up the time continuum or something.
I think I would appreciate it. If it's in my benefit, though.
Yeah, only.
Only, yeah.
Or at the benefit of humanity. Exactly.
Well, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
Okay, well, as you know, my name is at Mr. Shannon Lanier. Holla at me on social media. But I am a dad of 3. I have a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, about to be 7, and a 4-year-old. That's 2 girls, and the last one's a boy. And they are my life. I'm also a husband to my wife, Shannon Lanier, my college sweetheart. Hey, boo, all right. And by trade, I am a news anchor. So I'm a news anchor by day and father by 24/7 because it never stops and it's always going, but I love every minute of it, even when I'm exhausted and tired.
Absolutely.
And they fussing and fighting in the back and you just want to hurt somebody. You breathe and you say, this is a blessing. This is a blessing. Yeah, so that's what I try to take into consideration.
Cool. Where are you from?
From Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ooh,
Yeah.
so I'm really excited about that because, you guys, I don't know a lot of people, first of all, in Houston that are from my city.
Right.
And I think that it's a very unique thing to be from the Midwest. We're right there in the middle.
Right. And it's referenced in everything. Like you see movies and TV shows, there's always somebody from Ohio or Cincinnati or a part that's filmed there. It's just a great, wholesome place to be from.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is.
My family's still all there, all up and down Ohio from the north to the south. We're going back there soon to visit and see everybody.
Yeah. And I think that you have a very unique job, right? A lot of people don't do what you do or have large families. I mean, I would put you in a category of like a nice sized family.
Yeah, well, my immediate family is very, average, 2 parents and 3 kids, but I have a huge extended family as well because I'm the 6th great grandson of Thomas Jefferson and his slave Sally Hemings.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my family, and so those people are all over the country, all over the world. So it's kind of nice anywhere I go, I get to visit them.
Yeah, that's cool. So did you know, how did you find out that you were the
6th great grandson?
6th great
yeah,
grandson.
which makes me a 9th generation descendant. Yeah,
that is awesome.
Just basically through the oral history of my family, I had some amazing people to help research my family to, put all the links and places together to who we are and how we descend down and who begot who. And, thanks to, Patty Jo, her mother Ann, different people in my family, Toddy, who was able to preserve that history and find out more, I now know who I am today and where I link to.
Right. So how important is that to you when you think about, your family history, where you're from, and giving that information to your kids?
Yeah, I think it's important because it's nice to have some type of reference to where you come from, who you are, what was in your legacy of your ancestors, and sort of connect to that. And especially, when you think about diseases and different things and ailments that people go through, it's like, okay, what runs in my family? What could I possibly stop or prevent from happening because I know about that history? But, I tell people all the time, even if they don't know where they come from, even if they can't go back, 9 generations or whatever, they can always start preserving the history with themselves and who they are and pass it down to future generations. And I try to teach my kids that, who you are, where you come from. But I always also go back to the kings and the queens that they come from as well.
Right.
And the pride pride and the strength that come with people that were slaves. You know, a lot of people think it should be shameful. I'm like, no, we came from survivors.
Right.
You know, they went through the most brutal of treatments and they survived. So we come from a strong people. So how dare you complain about the minute things that we have to go through today?
Yeah, definitely. That's a true story. So I know we kind of went past this, but how did you get into journalism?
Excuse me. Well, I went to school in Cincinnati, Ohio, at a high school called Hughes Center for the Communications Profession. So I guess ever since I was a kid, I always had a camera in my hand. My parents was like, he either is going to be a filmmaker or on TV.
Yeah.
Because I always had a camera. I was always making home videos and, you know, experimenting with different home videos, and I make my family all watch the video that I made, you know, editing on reel to reel and then slicing things. And, you know, I started out very old school. And then when I went to high school, I got into it more and just never turned back. Went to college for it and then just stayed in the industry.
Yeah. So that journey, because I'm interested, I went to school for journalism.
Okay.
And
what school?
I went to Wright State.
Oh, Wright State? My sister went to Wright State? Okay.
Yes.
I used to always go down there. They have good frat parties down there. So.
That was fun. They used to say I went to wrong state.
Oh, yeah. I heard those jokes, too.
I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when I was there, you know, I had, like, internship after internship, whatever. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of not getting paid. You know, and so what was it that had you where you was like, you know, I'm going to keep pursuing this? Or how did you get that first job where you're like, okay, I'm getting a paycheck?
Yeah, well, you know, that's one of the ways I tell people how they know they're in their right profession, because I said, if you can do a job that you love so much that you don't get paid for it and you still love doing it, then you know you meant to do that. And that's what it was for me. I didn't mind not getting paid because I love doing it. I love being in front of the audience. I love being on television. So for me, it was one of those things where I was just living my best life by, you know, doing television. It was what I loved. And so that's how I knew that's what I wanted to do. And regardless of the paycheck. I mean, I look back at the first real paycheck I got in the industry, and I was making peanuts. I'm talking about $300 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was so happy. I was like, I got a paycheck. I'm about to be spending. It was ridiculous peanuts. And now I'm looking like I want to get out of bed for $300.
Right.
So, you know, it's funny that you see the transition and how you've grown in your career and your paycheck as well. But, you know, it's still one of those things I still sometimes do for free just because I'm that passionate about the industry and what I do. So
so how important is it to you when you look at people, you know, of color or you know, your background or whatever, being on TV and being represented? You know, do you think about that, or is
no, I definitely do, because you want to see people that look like you on television. You want to see that representation, because that also gives me hope that there's still some jobs out there for me. And I'm like, y'all, Nick Cannon and Terry Crews cannot do every job. Michael Strahan needs to sleep sometime. Let other people get some jobs. But so I still love seeing that representation, because that gives me hope that there are opportunities out there for me and that we are growing, and that it proves that we are loved on television. People like seeing us, and it just gives other little kids hope that I can do that one day. I can be in their shoes.
I mean, I think it's powerful too for your kids to see that, right? Like your family, you know, they're like, oh, you know, that's my dad. Like if he's out here doing these things, you know, what is it that I can accomplish? Yeah,
it's also fun when my kids say, oh, my friends at school watch you on TV, or their parents see you in the morning, and so said good job with this. And I like that they can see me on television, because then they know when I disappear in the middle of the night, this is where I'm going. I'm not just like disappearing at 3 a.m. and you're like, where'd daddy go?
Right.
So it's like, because I'm going to do my job. And a lot of kids, you know, you think about it, most kids don't really understand or know what their family does. They just know they go to work. They don't ever see what their job looks like or ever see where they go. My kids are able to see what I do on a daily basis. They're able to come to the station on their off days and sell Girl Scout cookies, which they do. And so, you know, I appreciate that. They really get, and I was able to do that with my mother because she was a teacher. So she was dragging us along all the time. I didn't really understand what my father did until we were a little older, and he worked and then as an engineer. And then he worked in some hospitals.
Did you think that was fun?
Yeah, I thought when he drove, at some point he got laid off from GE, and he was driving trucks.
Okay.
And so then I thought that was cool because we got to go in the big semi trucks and blow the horn and stuff until you started work at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
But so anytime you have a connection with your parents and are able to go see what they do, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know or don't understand, it's just like you're hanging out with mom and dad.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know, you're seeing all this stuff that you're not supposed to see or you never get to see. So that's why I do encourage people, if they can, to take their kids to work, to let them see what you do, let them know why you're not where you are or you can't make it to their play, because I'm doing this job. I'm at work so I can, make money to support the family.
Absolutely. So who wants to be like you? Which one?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on what day. Because, I would say Madison, the oldest one. She would want to be like me because she was just a ham always in front of the camera. She's turned a little bit more shy lately.
Really?
And Mackenzie, who used to be the shy one, has now blossomed and is like, hey, here I am, world. So, she's always performing in front of the camera. So, I don't know. I just want them to be them and, find out what path they want to take. And, I'll support whatever it is. As long as it's not a crackhead, I'm going to support them.
I'm sure that won't happen.
No, not at all.
No, but I think that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about, before you came to Houston and were on the CW.
Well, I'm on the CW now, so I anchor the morning show from 6 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on the CW 39 morning show. It's called Morning Dose right here in Houston. But before that, I was in New York City for 15 years, and I was doing different television shows, from the news to Black Enterprise Business Report, which is a business show put on by Black Enterprise Magazine. I worked for Arise Entertainment 360, which was a global entertainment show that was just amazing content, amazing guests. We interviewed like 3 or 4 celebrities every day, and it aired also on BET's sister station Centric, and that was an amazing experience. I traveled the world with that show because it was a global show, and it was just an amazing experience to be able to partake in something groundbreaking as Arise. But I did a little bit of everything. I also worked at some of the local CBS stations and New York One. No, not New York One. What was it called? News 12. I was up there. I was like, I don't know. I worked a lot of places. Yeah, but it's all industry related. So it was fun.
Yeah. So do you see yourself as or where do you see yourself, I guess, in the next 5 to 10 years? Or what would be something that would be like, you know what, as Shannon, this is where I would want to be, with the experiences that I've had, the people that I've met, this is where I would love to take myself.
I would like to say I would be retired sitting on a beach, but I doubt that's going to happen because my kids always want something, and I would probably get bored after 1 week of
you
retirement.
way too active for that.
Right. I'd be like, okay, this sucks. Even when I go on vacation, I'm like going. My wife was like, can we just rest one day? I'm like, wow, you can do that at home. But we usually need a vacation from my vacation when we come back because I'm always ripping and running. So in 10 years, I would probably say I would have my own television show or be on a network television show. Yeah. Like one of the Today Show, Good Morning America, something like that. And then I would still be able to do my podcast, which I love doing. It's called Daddy Duty 365, where I interview celebrity dads about the good, the bad, and the funny of fatherhood.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, this is an amazing show. You would be surprised how many celebrities want to talk about being a father.
Really?
Because a lot of times when they're doing interviews, it's like, okay, what's your most recent movie, music video? You have 3 minutes, tell us about it.
Yeah.
And then they're gone. They never get to really talk about themselves as a person, and especially not as a father. So it's really nice to see a glimpse inside their lives and kind of be a fly on the wall of the celebrities, behind the scenes moments with their children, and to talk about how they were raised and how that impacted the way they parent today. And even people being vulnerable enough to cry and talk about the demons that they have in their past and they had to get past by going through counseling. Mike Hill, who's engaged to Cynthia Bailey from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, he's a Fox Sports analyst, and he talked about that in his interview because he has a book coming out called Open Mic, and he even cried saying, I had to get past all the demons in my past. I had to go through counseling to become the man I am today, or I would be dead right now.
Wow, yeah.
And it was just very powerful for him to come out as a big, tough, strong sportsman and be vulnerable enough to share that with us.
Right.
And then other people had Boris Kojo and his brother Pat on. them talking about being raised in Germany and being discriminated against there, and then coming to the States and how life was different here. And since they were both active in sports, how they treat their kids when it comes to activity. And then Tommy Davidson, he's on this week. We release it every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And he was just on talking about how his mother threw him in a trash can when he was a baby, and a white woman found him and raised him in her family.
Oh, wow.
And how that impacted his life and how he raised his children to not see color, if you can, if that's possible, but to just love people, love on people, and love them as much as you can. And that's one of the things he said he thinks it works. Yeah, oh man, powerful story.
Yeah.
It's on his new book, Living in Color. So it was a powerful story. And like I said, that's how people are opening up on this podcast, Daddy Duty 365, because they are dads 365 days of the year, regardless of if they're filming a movie or doing something else. They still have to be a dad. They still have to have that title. So.
Right. Yeah, and that was what intrigued me. You know, when I met you, I saw that you were doing a lot of these dad videos, and I was like, oh, that's really awesome. You know, because to take the initiative to be vulnerable, to show that, you know, I think that is brave, but you know, to give people a light into your life, because you know, a lot of times we're very private. We don't want people to know, you know, the struggles that we face. And it's real.
Yeah,
you know?
Especially as a news guy. You used to just seeing the news guy being a talking head.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't have a real personality.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, I have a personality. And you get to see it on my social media pages. And Mr. Shannon Lanier is where you can follow me and see all the crazy stuff my kids and I go through. You'll see me doing hair. I'm braiding hair, getting it done. Scaring my kids, doing all kinds of activities. We just did a muddy dash, which is like a relay race through mud pits and messy, muddy excursions through a countryside. It was an experience, but it was so much fun. I did not think we were going to have out in Conroe. We're out in the boonies. Yeah, way out in the boonies. And it was just so much fun. I had no idea how much fun it was going to be and how beneficial it was going to be for my family, because we use it as a team building exercise.
Okay.
In my video, you'll see my daughters helping each other, and they're usually fighting, and they're helping each other get through these obstacles. They're encouraging other, come on, you guys, you can do it, you know, stuff like that. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to do this weekly.
I need to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you get really muddy and really messy. After you get past the initial shock of that, then you're good.
Then you're good. Okay. But yeah, I mean, when you started doing your daughter's hair and all, so what made you say, you know what, let me start doing, let me take the initiative to do this? Because I know some men that they're like, I'm not doing that.
I don't know about initiative, but my wife was like, look, we're going to have these kids. I'm going to need some help.
Yeah.
You can't just be expecting me to do the hair every day, all day. And so I said, all right, I got you. Yeah. And so I had to learn, you know, she taught me some things. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. Because I got to the point where I was like, I keep doing the same styles, you know, and my daughter was like, I want to try something new. So I'm like, all right, pick out a style. And then we try to figure it out. You know, it's like that hair love doc, you know, it's like we're going to try to figure this out. And it's
like that
fun
video, what was the one, the little, that just want to.
Yeah, it was Hair Love.
Hair Love. Yeah, that's what it was.
The short at the Oscars.
I love that.
Yeah, because, you know, it also gives dads an opportunity to bond with their daughters. I mean, sometimes when you just start out, they may be screaming throughout the whole time. But it still gives you an opportunity to bond with them and to tell them how beautiful they are, how much you like their hair.
And honestly, they love when their dad, like, whatever you guys do, it's okay. Because my daughter, she loves when her dad does her hair. And she's like, no, daddy did it.
And it'll be looking like this.
Yeah,
and like, but daddy did it.
I'm like, it's a little stiff on this side. Can I fix it? She's like, no. Daddy did it. I'm like,
how
okay.
old is your daughter?
5.
Okay, wait till she gets 9.
Yeah.
She's like, Daddy, what you do? Why is this over here and this is down here?
Yeah, she's like mad about it now.
Yeah, now she got an opinion.
Okay, but before it was okay.
Yeah, before it was okay.
Okay. But yeah, definitely the YouTube. He had to watch those because I work, you know, and so.
And you don't want them going out the house messy. And sometimes my kids escort me to red carpets and different things.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
Even if their hair is done before they leave the house, it's going to get messed up by the time they get there. So I need them to know how to get it in order before we hit the red carpet, before we're seeing in, you know, photos and things. So got to be looking right, looking tight.
Absolutely.
The edges right.
So, like, when you started doing your podcast, and even with the interviews and the other jobs that you had, how important is relationship building to you?
Oh, relationship building is massively important. I mean, again, my podcast is for celebrity dads. So if I did not have the relationships with these people that I was able to, I'm now just able to call them like, hey, you know, Tommy, can you do this interview? Hey, Boris, what's up? Can you do this interview? If I didn't have relationships with these people, they would not respect me enough to give their time to do this. You know what I mean? Right. So I think that was a blessing that I was able to build those relationships. And you know, it's based on past experiences with them and interactions with them that they say, I can trust him. I know he's, you know, newsworthy. I know he's credible. I know that I can trust him with my story, with whatever we're going to talk about. And, you know, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate that they remember those experiences, because your first impressions can help you or hurt you, you know, and I'm glad. I try not to ever burn a bridge. I try not to be too negative. I try not to do any gotcha TV. Like, you didn't know we was coming to, we're going to ask you this. Try to catch you off guard. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth the relationships and embarrassing somebody for what, you know what I mean, just to get some clicks. So I try to be ethical and respectable and responsible in the way I handle myself in interviews.
Yeah. And how long, let's just say, like, how long did it take to establish some of those relationships? Because I think sometimes people, they don't understand, or they think that they're going to get an immediate return from, you know, when they're building their business or, you know, building whatever it is that they want. They're like, oh, well, I asked this person, they told me no, or they didn't answer the phone. It's like, well, how long have you known them? Right,
exactly. Some of it is immediate and you just bond and you connect. And some of it takes time to groom those relationships and get to know them. So they, especially when you're dealing with people that are higher up in the hierarchy of the echelon of life, you know, they are always asked for stuff. People are always asking, can you do this? Can we have this? Can you donate that? And so it's like they need to know your intentions, you know what I mean? And if you've known them for a longer period of time and you're always consistent and not asking for something every time you see them, then they know that they can trust you more and that you're there for the long haul, that you're there for, you know, to not just mooch off of them and you know, try to get stuff from them. So
how do you make yourself of value? You know, because some people are like, man, like I would love to do this, or, you know, I asked this person or whatever, and they don't know how to, you know, be valuable to that person, or they may not see themselves as like, well, I'm not rich, or I don't have all these other things I can give them. But, you know, what would you give someone as far as advice, our listeners who are wanting to do something or ask one and they know the right people, but they feel like they're not, you know, they're not that person to be able to ask? Like, how do you show that you're valuable?
You know, I used to be like that. And then, you know, I realized the worst I can say is no. And then I was like, so you just, my wife always says, I admire how you're never afraid to ask somebody something or afraid somebody's going to tell you no. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's all they can do. But what if they say yes? What if they say yes? And a lot of times it's not about what you can give to someone or the value you can bring. A lot of people want to say, well, I'm not going to ask them for that because I don't have anything to give them in return. Sometimes they just want to help you. Maybe they just want to bless your life. Maybe they want to bless something that you're doing and, you know, sow a seed into whatever, you know, project you have. And so, you know, I feel like the Daddy Duty 365 project is important enough that people would want to sow seeds in it, that we want to see positive images of fathers out there, because there's been enough negative images of babies, daddies, and people out there not doing it.
That's why I love it, because you're highlighting that positive side.
Yeah, and I want to support other dads that are out there. I want to, you know, motivate and support those that are doing the podcast, but also encourage those that may be listening to say, you know, I can be a better father. I can be more active. I can do more. Even I'm trying to get it in the prison system now, because I think even those guys who are in the prison systems can be helped by the information and the stuff we share when they get out, when they're in there, all this stuff, just to be, you know, and play a more active role in their kids' lives. Because a lot of dads, they think, well, we live in the same house, I'm present, but are you actively present? You know what I mean? It's a difference between picking up your kids for school and listening to music and never talking to them the whole way home, and then when you get home, you sit on the couch and drink a beer and watch TV. Right. That's not being an active parent. Being active, when you pick them up, turn off the music, get off the cell phone, ask them how their day was. What did you do today? Talk to them. I know way too much about my kid's life in her classroom and the friends she plays with and the ones I don't want her to play with, and all that stuff. So you have to get that. Yeah, you got to know what they're going through and what they're experiencing, and let them feel like it's okay for them to talk to you and build that trust and that relationship with your kids as well. So I think it's important to have that active role and relationship and presence in your children's lives.
Yeah.
So hopefully definitely. The podcast will encourage more people to do that.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. So we real quick, tell us, what do you think that discovering your best self is?
I think discovering your best self is just about you looking inside of you and finding out what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. And whatever makes you happy is going to make you your best self because you're glowing. People can see it on your face. They can get that sense of satisfaction and fulfillment from you because you feel like you're, fulfilling your goals, your dreams, your desires of your life. And a lot of people don't stop and think about what that is enough. I think it's something that could constantly be changing, evolving, but I think it's something that we need to keep track of. Write it down. Put sticky notes on your mirror in the bathroom, whatever it is, so you can have a focus or, those big charts people make, like a focus board or what do they call it? Vision board.
Vision board, yes.
Like a vision board, so you can keep track of what these things are that you want so you can achieve your best life. And I think as long as you're going towards it, you are experiencing that. But, a lot of people say, well, I don't feel like I'm living my best life unless I have that goal first. If you're moving towards it, I think that's just as good. And when you get to it, you'll be able to appreciate it more because you've seen the journey. You've gone through so many things to get to where you're going. And that's when you're really going to truly be able to live your best life and appreciate that life you have. If you don't build up to a point where you can appreciate it more because you worked hard for it, then you're not going to feel like you're living your best life because you didn't appreciate it as much. It was just given to you.
Yeah. I like the answer. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I told you I wasn't going to steal all of your time today.
No, I don't mind.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, but at least it was a great conversation. Hopefully it will help some people out there. And, maybe I'll see some of y'all on the streets of Houston while you're watching the CW39 morning show or wherever you may be within the country. It doesn't matter because you can always tune in to Daddy Duty 365, the podcast that's available wherever podcasts are available, as well as daddyduty365.com.
Thank you.
Get my plugs in there,
Thank you for listening to Discover Your Best Self. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Follow us on Instagram at Discover Your Best Self.